If you sit on a black stone bench at the Mecca Masjid just southwest of the fabled Charminar, you will return to this city of minarets time and again. Thus goes the story of the 400-year-old city of Hyderabad. The Charminar was built in 1591 by Sultan Muhammad Qutub Shahi, the founder of Hyderabad. It stands amidst the bustling bazaars of this colorful city, a perfect synthesis of Hindu and Muslim traditions.
Rama Rama Sita Rama Jaya Jaya Sita Rama Kodanda Bayi Kilisina Palakavindu Parke Bangara Maya Kilisina Palakariva Ravaya Ramadasni Dayalunti Provavaya Kodanda Bayi Kilisina Palakariva Kallaku Kandu Yesiri Setulaku Konalu Vettiri Ipuna Pandalu Vettiri Pakana Pallelru Mosiri Nadeja Kaidurona Rakuramulu Nalale Punnamaya Vayuramulu Appula Varunannu Sri Ramulu Narkuchunar Rama Vayuramulu
The largest castle ruin in the world, the Golconda Fort, stands here. This awesome and massive fort has the history of medieval Deccan written in its ruins and was the capital of the Qutub Shahi kings all through their rule. To this day, folk singers recount the many legends associated with this historical monument.
पिया तुझ आशना मैं तू बेगाना न कर मुझको
The tombs of the Sultans of Golconda stand in a silent garden near the fort. A blend of Pathan, Persian and Hindu architecture, they stand as solemn reminders of the grandeur and glory of Golconda. Hyderabad. To this day, the city exudes an atmosphere of 400 years of composite culture, a city whose unique charm and magic draws the traveler back to it. Bangalore, the capital city of Karnataka, is India's fastest growing metropolis today. The Vidhana Saudha is this stately granite structure which houses the state legislature and government secretariat and is designed on the architectural pattern of the old palaces of Mysore. Overlooking this modern structure is the famous Cubbon Park full of flowering trees, laid out as early as 1864. One of the reasons for Bangalore being called the Garden City. Bangalore has a history that is both colorful and exciting. The summer residence of the famous Tipu Sultan was begun by Hyder Ali and completed by Tipu in 1791. It resembles the Darya Daulat Bagh in Srirangapatnam, where too history comes alive in the exquisite murals on the walls. days of glory when Tipu Sultan fought the British, displaying a courage and valor people speak of to this day. In Srirangapatnam too is Tipu's mosque with its twin minarets. In a land as ancient as Karnataka, one does not have to travel far to come face to face with history. Hampi, once the capital of the mighty Vijayanagar Empire, is an enormous ancient treasury of temples, rock inscriptions, carvings and statues. Architectural wonders that are a tribute to the vision of man and his civilization.
बिजली वैसे राजा की तलवार राज जीतने आया दुश्मन भाग रहा है हार गिरती हर पल बिजली वैसे राजा की तलवार राज जीतने आया दुश्मन भाग रहा है हार कमल हार ने राजा का सीना चमकाया रे आया हंसता गाता आया उत्सव आया रे उत्सव आया रे कमल हार ने राजा का सीना चमकाया रे आया हंसता गाता आया उत्सव आया रे उत्सव आया रे नमो अरिहंताणम.
North of Mysore stands the 57-foot tall monolith of the Jain sage Gomateshwara in Shravanabelagula. Nearly 1,800 years old, this famous naked statue is symbolic of the renunciation of worldly possessions. Halibid, Belur and Somnathpur temples are world famous for their Hoysala architecture. Intricate carvings of scenes from the Ramayana and the life and times of the Hoysala kings cover the walls of the temples. Built in the 13th and 14th centuries, they are a triumph of skill and aesthetics, an ancient undying art. Madras, centre of the booming film industry of India. A bastion of the British East India Company, Madras today is the 4th largest city of India. The signs of the British Raj are still visible here. Unaffected by time, these protectors of villages continue to ward off the evil eye. Beneath its veneer, this is still a land of old traditions. Traditions that are still very much visible in the simple lives of the fisherfolk, whose rhythms reflect a continuity and timelessness as old as history. It may look like a part of France, but is in fact very much a part of India. Pondicherry, a former French colony, still retains a unique flavor of graceful French influences. Pondicherry has beautiful examples of French colonial architecture, emblems of 17th century Renaissance.
चक्रवर्तिगल राजशेखर वर्मन चोलदेव की जय हो जय हो.
Tanjavur, the capital of the imperial Cholas from the 10th to the 14th century, boasts the famous Brihadeshwar temple built in the year 1003 by King Rajaraja I. This majestic temple rises 216 feet high above the city and is considered the finest example of temple architecture in India. The temple tower is capped by a monolithic cupola formed by a single granite rock weighing over 80 tons. For the traveller, a pilgrimage to the south is incomplete without a visit to Madurai, one of India's most ancient cities. Dating back to the 6th century BC, it was the capital of the Pandyan Empire till the 14th century AD and a seat of Tamil learning and culture. The Meenakshi temple is an exquisite example of a highly evolved civilization with a town of learning growing around the temple with religion at its center. The two shrines dedicated to Lord Shiva and his consort Meenakshi depict the different manifestations of the Lord. And in the Hall of 1,000 Pillars are musical ones where each sounds a different note when struck. At Mahabalipuram, the flourishing capital of the Pallava kings in the 7th century, stands one of the major glories of Indian art. Here, carved in bas-relief, stands Arjuna's penance, a world of gods, birds, men and beasts who all fit harmoniously into the theme of penance for the great epic hero. The tradition and culture of India's ancient civilization is not to be found only in rocks and temples and silent monuments. It is part of a living tradition. Here at Kalakshetra, gurus impart their knowledge of these ancient arts to their students. If South India is a seat of ancient art and architecture, it is also home to nature's glorious wildlife. Tekkadi, Bandipur and Mudumalai are some of the finest sanctuaries of India that nature has gifted to man, who in turn has made animals an intimate part of his social and religious life. The beautifully carved wooden palace at Padmanabhapuram was the seat of the Travancore rulers until the 18th century. The architecture echoes the traditions not only of India, but also of the Far East, China and Japan. Home to one of the earliest Christian communities of the world is Kottayam, where early Christians made their base 1900 years ago.
ശോഭയും പുകഴ്ചകൾ നിറഞ്ഞൊരു രാജ്യം മായിട്ട് വസിക്കുമേ. ശോഭയും പുഴകൾ നിറഞ്ഞൊരു രാജ്യമായിട്ട് വസിക്കുമേ. യാക്കോബ് അവളിൽ ശുദ്ധമായ പ്രിയത്താൽ ഇനിയും വസിക്കുമേ. യാക്കോബ് അവളിൽ ശുദ്ധമായ പ്രിയത്താൽ ഇനിയും വസിക്കുമേ. ദൈവത്തിരുവള്ളത്താൽ മഷിയ
Jerusalem will be restored to its glory. The Jews of Cochin have their roots going back to 52 AD when they landed in Kranganore. Here in the Cochin synagogue, ancient scrolls of the Old Testament are preserved. Copper plates inscribed in ancient Malayalam script testify to the king who offered refuge and hospitality to the persecuted Jewish people. Once, they say, a long, long time ago, the fiery-tempered sage Parasurama flung his battle axe into the sea, and from this sprang the land of Kerala. The peaceful serenity of this land belies its violent mythical birth. Here, as in the rest of the south, nature and man live in harmony.